All right, today we're going to be doing a Coelacanth game, kind of an old game that just refused to die. This one actually comes from 1977 and predates a lot of other mecha-based games. Metagaming Concepts was an old game company, no longer around, that produced small pocket games that you could put in your pocket. They were kind of produced in the guy's basement and then sold. I kind of love those old production values. But still, this game was the game of Ogre. And Ogre was produced by Steve Jackson at Metagaming Concepts Games. When he left in 1982, he took this game with him. Now, they've already created miniatures for the game and whatnot, but Steve Jackson brought Ogre with him to Steve Jackson Games as kind of a major title. He's been working on it quite consistently. In 1987, he released a deluxe edition of the game. The second edition having been released when he brought over to Steve Jackson Games in 1982. In 1991, they released a miniatures version of the game that was supported by Raul Partha. And then in 1992, that game actually won the Origins Award for the best miniatures rules of that year. Nice going. Fast forward to 2000, the millennia. He released the 5th edition of Ogre then, and also a new deluxe edition. The new style of Ogre we're used to seeing came around in 2012 with the Designer's Edition, a huge box, bigger than this, that has all of the bells and whistles you'd ever want to play a game of Ogre as far as the board game is concerned. Now this was released, this Ogre Battle Box was released in 2018. I like my miniatures, and I like the fact it's a one-shop stop where you got just the one box where, hey, this is my miniatures game, and everything in here can be one miniatures game. But this is the newest addition to Ogre besides the Designer's Edition, and it allows you to play either with miniatures on your board game, or you can literally just, play miniatures games with this. Either way, you can play Ogre with this. There's been a lot of unboxing videos. You've already seen the inside of this. If you can just cruise YouTube and look for Ogre unboxing, you've already seen the inside of this. But I want to kind of give it my impression and see what's going on with this box as far as its utility as a gamer, as far as what I think of Ogre. All I've really done is just take off the cellophane. This is my first time opening the box. And I'm pulling at it. It doesn't pull from this side. It's actually a pretty sturdy box. I would rate it just a little bit below the Legend of the Five Rings box. Yeah, the cardboard isn't as hardcore as the, this feels like smaller than E-Flute. But yeah, it's just a little bit less hardcore than the Legend of the Five Rings boxes that I'm used to opening. So, well, if you want miniatures, here they are. So, comes with plastic bags full of miniatures. This one has both sides, an Ogre and a bunch of Pan-Europeans to destroy. Comes the second thing. I think this has the older mark. What is it, a Mark III of Ogre? An older mark of Ogre, and well, infantry. So the infantry come on with bases on the same exact sprue. So you can't just spray one sprue one color and then spray the other sprue the other color and reassemble them as you see fit. You kind of have to, do some clipping and jigging here. Okay, I understand that. So there's that. At the very bottom, everything's in one plastic baggie. So I pull this out. What's this? This is just stamped cardboard. So it has maps. Nice. And they look like they're Battletech size too. That's really nice. Cool. So we have this. This is the 6th edition revised battle box. This is the rule book. It's kind of a rules light, I would assume, but it probably also has everything you need to actually play a game. Maybe there's more detailed rules somewhere else, but this probably has everything you need to actually play. 1d6. It's got unit cards in it. I'm going to open this up and see what I can get. Advertising for the video game they produced. Advertising for more stuff. Scenarios, train effects. This is the quick play. Let me get rid of the actual cellophane. Oh. Building, strong point. I see. So those are probably objectives you have to attack. Oh, I see. My punch out has been taking damage already. So there's actually a punch out cardboard thing you get for whatever reason. It's got damage markers administration buildings, strong point buildings, yada yada. Everything's on here, as well as this is an assembly guide. It comes with unit cards. You would expect it. Honestly, everything comes with unit cards nowadays. There's nothing impressive there. Putting this aside, I like maps. Hex maps are my friends. I like hex maps a lot. There you go. Had to wimp out and use a bladed instrument to actually open the map. It's glossy. It feels kind of thick in my hands. It's full size too. Yeah, this is a big ass map. This would make for a great game of BattleTech. It is not dual-sided. It is not. Look at all this map I have here. So yeah, it's a nice map. 32-page rulebook. The train. I can only assume that what I'm seeing here is enough to actually be the game. It's possible this is the rule book from the other game and they just dropped it in. I don't know. But I'd love to find out. So we have this 6th edition revised rule book. It says battle box. I'm assuming this goes with the battle box only. I like it. It's nice and easy to do. As far as the map's concerned, this map's actually great. I want to see if they make more maps. We might play some other games on here besides just Ogre. Who knows? So I'm going to put the rest of this stuff away, and I'm going to focus on the one thing I really wanted to focus on, the miniatures. All right, time to open up some plastics here and see what we have. I'm just going to predict lots and lots of... They don't look very stable. If the one thing fell apart, these may too. Actually, these will do. There's 2 ogres in one. The heck? 2 of them? So I get like the earlier mark of Ogre and the latest mark of Ogre. Okay. Here's the poor defenseless guys that get shot up by the ogres. Various tanks. I recognize these. I actually had some of the metal ones from a previous edition that I turned into missile launcher bases for Modern Warfare games. Light tanks, I assume. Let me guess, that's the base you're attacking. Yeah, command post. You're supposed to attack and destroy that. So, nice. It's generally just, you know, it's a plastic sprue. There's no, like, there's no cross containment here. So, something tells me that the best thing to do with this would be to, like, clip out all these and sand them down. Put them on a flat surface that is like duct tape or something. Spray them your ground color or the color of the map, and then go back and spray the infantry so the infantry look like infantry and put them on the thing. I am in the impression that it is probably best to paint lightly. If you want to paint it like it's a Warhammer product or it's supposed to be top grade, you can go ahead and paint it like amazing. But I'm thinking these guys are mass. You spray them one medium color or a light color, then you put a medium or dark ink on there depending what you sprayed. So my old technique for painting should be good for these boyos. These are like big individual models that make up an entire army by themselves. I might just treat them special. I might not. Who knows? Second up. So here we have an additional ogre. By the look of it, this one is the intervening mark between this old one and this new one. So we've got a couple marks of ogres there. Those are GEVs. They got their own game once, but yeah, I don't think anybody plays GEV compared to playing Ogre. Oh, and you have like transport versions thereof. I think these are howitzer-based tanks, are they? Mobile howitzer, yeah, exactly. More infantry, it seems. Okay. I don't know what these are, but I think they're heavy tanks of some kind. You stick the guns in there and they count as heavy tanks. That is one of the enemy has a counter to the ogre called the fencer, and that's what this is. This is a fencer. These, I think, are hover transports or transports in general or something. I don't know. I have to go look into it. But this is I like the fact that there's a bunch of little things on a sprue. So if you give it a nice light coat of spray paint, you can then, assemble it all and be good for having your base coat down. Probably best to hit it with like a primer color combination. They make a lot of those nowadays from like Army Painter or Battlefront Miniatures. Citadel makes a bunch, but I don't know if they're thin enough to actually work on these. What I would think about doing is you hit these with a light thing of a primer base color, and then you put ink on top of it, and you pick out your details, and you're done. You're not spending 4 hours per miniature squadron painting guys. I like it. So this is supposed to be the counterpart to the ogres. I wonder if the ogres can fight these guys one-on-one, or if these guys take a little friends of theirs with them or not. I wonder if these are spirit infantry, or if these are supposed to go with the pack of infantry we had earlier, because they don't look different. They look the same. I'm lining them up here. They look identical. So they look like they're supposed to go with these. So these poor guys sending men to fight gigantic death tanks. And look at this thing. It's a sprue right now, but it's essentially a rolling building with all these cannons sticking out, and the men are supposed to fight that. Oh, the humanity and all the people. I like it. This has to be assembled and used. It's not the kind of thing where you can just put the board game on the shelf and be like, hey, board game, since I bought the battle box, I am expected to use miniatures. So use miniatures I will. I will get these guys painted at some time in the future, and we might even put a game online. So we'll see how that turns out. So this is the Ogre Battle Box. It's the latest offering from Steve Jackson Games, and kind of the one I wanted. Plastic minis, easy to store box. Opens from the opposite direction, mind you. It doesn't open the way most box games do. So I think it's cool. I have yet to even delve into it or inspect the rules or whatnot. I am just looking at the product here, and I can feel that old school thing where your miniatures are essentially just, fine quality tokens you have on the map. I'm okay with that. That kind of thinking does not discourage me. I mean, I have art piece miniatures, but sometimes you just need to play a game. You get your Axis and Allies tanks out and roll dice against each other. This fits that bill, except for in the science fiction version. And it's old. This game is older than Battletech and more Coelacanth. This game kind of deserves to die, but it's not going to. Because it's kind of found that nice niche between the board game community and the war game community. And it's got plenty of grognards who love it enough. They're like, yeah, it's easier to spend more money on a new Ogre box than it is on anything Warhammer 40k related. So yeah, this is the Ogre Battle Box. It's everywhere. You can pick it up for about $80 or so. And maybe a bit more if you live in a crappy place. But I was able to find mine for a little bit less than that, as usual. Thank God for Steve Jackson Games and giving us strange, weird, new games to play with that aren't the usual thing. You guys, thanks for watching the video. Have a great week.